Hello and good evening, friends. This is Coach Tia, here to give you tips and strategies to encourage leaders. Thank you so much for tuning into my broadcast. I love encouraging leaders. If you've come to this channel, come to my YouTube channel, you see that I give a lot of communication tips. And I give communication tips that is more so framed around your interpersonal voice, to keep you encouraged, the dialogue that you need to have with yourself so that you can be set free in your heart to do all the great things that you want to do in your life. So I hope that you find my content helpful. You can always go to my website, coachtia.org, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're looking for more communication tips that will help you with your inner dialogue. Tonight, I really wanted to deliver a message that was centered around heartbreak. And I have been saying for a while that I was giving social media a break. But when I find myself that I keep having the same conversation with different people because I see a pattern where a lot of people may be going through some of the same things, then I think that it's a good time to come out and share a message with the world that may help them through some tough times. I will say that I always love to give my disclaimer that this is a kingdom conversation. Those of you who are members of this kingdom, you know who you are. If you are not, I love sharing my faith. I'm more than happy to talk about it, so you can inbox me if you have any questions. But my perspective always comes from my faith journey, my identity, and my love for Jesus Christ. So please feel free to take in and listen, and hopefully you'll be encouraged by what I have to say, because that is my true intention, is to encourage you today and give you hope for a much brighter future that we all have together. So anyhow, let's just talk about it. I want to talk about heartbreak and heartache, and it's a time where the holidays are coming, they're near, and usually people are triggered during this time. They could be triggered from depression, they could be triggered from grief. I've come across many people who've gone through divorces and breakups and loss and deaths in the family, and so many people have gone through a lot, guys, just since 2020. I know that many lives have changed, and there are still some families who are caught up from the stress and that aftermath, and here we are going through yet another recession, and people have lost jobs. I mean, there's so much going on, and so many people need encouragement, and they're dealing with heartbreak for all kinds of different reasons, which is the reason why I wanted to have this broadcast, just so I can be an encouragement and share a message about how to, one, prevent yourself from being heartbroken unnecessarily, and two, if you are heartbroken, what kind of conversation do you need to have with yourself so you can get over that hump. So here's what I would like to say about heartbreak and what it is. And this is just, I'm giving you my personal journey, my personal experience, and what I've noticed about heartbreak. But it is, normally, people are not usually trying to get over memories in the past. Past are things that already happened. And let's say, maybe it was a breakup, right? You can look back at memories. They've happened. They've existed. You can get over the memories. I tell you the part that people cannot get over. Remembering the past is one thing, but remembering the future is a far different process that tends to hurt even more. And what do I mean by remembering the future? What that means is that when you have hope in your heart, right, and you have an image in your heart for the type of future that you imagine to build with a person, any person, then it's already existed in you. So just that vision that you gave birth to in your heart, you were attached to that. That vision that you had in your heart is what helped you to prevail. It helped you to persevere. It helped you to have longevity. It helped you to tolerate when you're frustrated. It helped you to keep going because you had a vision in your heart that existed within you that said, hey, this is the future that I believe I'm building with this person or with this thing, this job, whatever the case may be. And when you have such a vision that you have living inside of you, it's already in existence inside of you, and that vision fails to meet reality, it fails to come into fruition, then there's a break, right? Because now you have to really break up with what's already happening, what's already existing in your heart. And that is where the heartbreak comes from, because now your heart has to separate from the world, the universe, the beautiful universe that you created that helped you to endure some tough times, some beautiful times, and create new experiences, and to create a journey. And that can hurt so much when you have hope, right? And this is where that word faith comes in. The Bible says the faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You may not have seen it with your physical eye, but you saw it with your heart. And because it already lived in you, because you already created a timeline within yourself for the vision that you hope to build, when you have to let go of the future, that hurts far more than letting go of the past. And so that is where heartbreak comes in. And so that being said, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, go ahead and feel free to drop a comment. But it really hurts to let go of hope more than it hurts to let go of what has already passed, because you already let go of the past. It already happened. You didn't want to let go of the future. And it's incredible what we have to do in the conversation that we have to have with ourselves to allow ourselves to relinquish the future. All right, you ready to pivot? Because this is where the tough dialogue comes in and some of the tough inner work. What I want you to consider in this process, and here's what I'll say for some of you who may be going through a breakup, or maybe you're going through a divorce, someone that you loved and you had a lot of hope for a relationship that you saw coming into existence. Let's say that that's the case. One thing that you do have to learn how to do, and we can talk about the prevention side of this, and then we'll go back and I'll talk a little bit about the healing side. You have to learn how to build a future that isn't necessarily based on a person or an individual. And that's a tough thing to do, because sometimes you can meet a person and you can say, oh, I think they're a great person. I think they fit right into my future. And now you've created this entire future with this person that existed inside of you before you had the chance to really watch how things were unfolding in reality. And some of us who are visionaries, especially you're talking about leaders, you're talking about visionaries, it's so easy to do that. What I want you to do is I want you to take the time during this time, if you're going through that breakup or you're going through that separation, is I want you to learn how to build a future that's not based on any particular person, but build a future just between you and God, because I always believe it's about you and God anyway. It's about you and your creator, you and the divine anyway. Build that future. And whoever fits into your future, they fit in. Friends, family, the case may be, but that future really is more so about you than it is about the people, the person, the specific persons that you want to be in it. Now, let me say this, and just being honest about this, there are some relationships that are designed to be eternal. I'm going to use that word eternal because that means no matter what happens, no matter what the relationship is, this connection will always stand. So for example, your parents, you may never have met your parents. You may never talk to them again, but your mom and dad, the people who brought you into the world, will always be your parents. There's nothing you can do to change that. Same for your children. Your children will always be your children. Whether you see them, whether you live or die, or whatever the case may be, your kids will always be your children. Right? So there are some relationships that those connections, I'll say, will always be connected to you in that way. Then there are some temporary connections that sometimes we start to build eternal frameworks with temporary connections. And that is something you have to be very careful about. So permanent connections, or they're supposed to be more eternal connections, are supposed to be like, a wife or a husband, a spouse, because they will always be maybe the parents of your children, the case may be. But, we have a modern society, and that doesn't necessarily always stand. But you do start to build that hope in those frameworks. But let's back up a little bit. I want you to be very careful about building an eternal existence within your heart with someone that has you in a temporary status. And that's important. Let's take dating off the table. Let's talk about another status that is temporary, okay? Employee. Let's say that. Let's use something a little less personal. If you have a job, I've seen so many people go completely heartbroken, shattered when they've lost their job. Losing a job should not shatter you. It can disappoint you. It can frustrate you. Maybe you can develop some anxiety, but it should not break your heart. If you have broken your heart, you've built your heart. You've given an eternal existence to a space that was meant to be temporary. Someone hired you for a job. They hired you to help to build their empire, and it was always on a performance basis for them as to whether or not your presence has been valuable to them. Companies rise and companies fall. You should never put that kind of time into your heart of building up something in a temporary space, because jobs can always be lost. So let's go back to understanding like your heart and what you should allow into your heart, because the Bible does also say, I love this verse, is to guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. I love the idea of guarding your heart. How do you do that? Number one is we have to stop building our house on sand. We have to stop creating eternal spaces for things that are very temporary, right? Think about things that are eternal. Think about things that stand, and you should be building your vision in your heart for things that are eternal. So let me give you an example of that. For me personally, I truly believe that no matter what happens, my future is bright, okay? So whoever comes in and out of it, that's fantastic. I love the people who come in, and I appreciate them. And some people are there for a season, and some people will be there for the long haul. And I appreciate those connections. I value those connections. I honor those connections who've been a part of my journey. But my future is bright with them or without them. I have in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit, where I'm going to go, what it is I'm supposed to do. And some people are going to be a part of that journey always, and some people may not. And it doesn't mean they're bad people. There's all kinds of things that happen, the reason why a connection may fall off. So I do not like to build my future on the idea of the connection itself. The future exists with or without the connection. It can be better because those people are there. It can be enhanced. Sometimes things can be harder because people are there, but it is not built on who is there. It's just there. So take a look at some of the tall buildings, historical buildings, pyramids that are still existing in the world. We have no idea who built those pyramids. Someone had a vision for a pyramid to be there. It is still standing today. Thousands of years later, we're wondering about these things. No one knows who built them, but it was built. That's how you need to be about your heart. What is it that you need to build that is built on something finite, something solid, things that don't just wither away, things that don't wash away so easily just because you've gotten into an argument, or just because you're mad at each other, or just because, someone stabbed you in the back. Someone can stab you in the back, and your vision should still be your vision. And I want you to build your vision on the what and not always on the who's. Again, I'm not necessarily talking about some of the things that are always meant to be like your children. For example, your kids will always be your kids. But I'm saying people who are in very temporary spaces, people who are in distant spaces, you shouldn't be creating so much space for them to take up that kind of room that if, these people walk away, you lose your job, you're heartbroken, that shouldn't be. But if you have, let's say you have a vision in your heart for your gifts and your talents and your skills, things you will always be gifted in. So this is where we take into consideration, what is it inside of you that you are gifted in that you love to do? And you should be building your future on that framework. Now, there's going to be people who come in and out of your life that are a part of that process, but they can't be the thing. So that's one way that I just want to encourage you when it comes to just preventing heartbreak, is understanding what should be in your heart to begin with that you can build upon. Now, people are the expansion of it, right? So you have the what, then you can bring in the who's, and whoever God gives you for that time to help support some of your vision and your talent and your goals and the things that you want to do and the things you were made to do, your purpose, your destiny to create. That's beautiful, and you should honor that and you should appreciate it. But loving people does not mean that I am so dependent on your presence in my life that I'm terrified if you have to move on, because they have their own journeys as well. Everyone does not subscribe to the way that you love. Things have limits, things have expiration dates, and they are also free to go on their own journey and develop a vision for themselves as well, that may not necessarily be built on who you are. What's important is that people are honest about that, but sometimes they won't be because people don't always know what they want, and that's okay. So if you can do that, I say that you'll be disappointed, like if something happens where someone that you really loved is a part of your life and now they aren't. You may be disappointed because it's like, man, I have all this love in my heart that I can't share with this person, and I really wanted to love them in this way. That's a beautiful thing. So maybe you're disappointed. Maybe your feelings are hurt. But heartbroken, it will take much, much more work for someone to break your heart if you learn how to build your vision in your heart based on things that will stand and be rock solid. And most of the time, let's say 8.5 out of 10 times, people are not very rock solid, just being honest with you on that. But be free enough within yourself to allow yourself to create that space. It doesn't mean you're cold. It doesn't mean you're distant. It means that you are liberated enough to allow people to come in, and you love them, and you're liberated enough within your heart to let them go, because you understand the purpose for what you are building, and you always want people to be in the best possible position to do that with you. And if they are not, maybe you're disappointed, maybe your feelings are hurt, maybe you had higher hopes for them, but it's also okay to release them into their own destiny so that they can be who they need to be as well. And find people who will also support them on the vision that's in their heart. And I truly believe that people are better when they are locked together in purpose and their purposes are aligned. So that is something that I truly believe with all my heart. Let's talk about now, and we'll switch. Let's talk about healing from heartbreak, okay? And this is a very important conversation. Hopefully, you are willing to just, be enlightened on what this looks like. But I want to say, for those of you who have loved and you've given your heart, you've given your soul to things, like I say, you may be grieving, you may have gone through a death in your family, you may have lost and had to shut down your business, you may have lost a job. There are many reasons why people end up heartbroken in their lives, and it's hard to recover from. What I want to say to you is that, one, I want to congratulate you on going out for something and putting yourself at risk, and loving and being able to create that vision, having the courage to create that vision. So one, pat yourself on the back and celebrate that you had the courage to go on that journey, because it's incredible. There's so many people who will never dare to do some of the things that you have dared to do, even if it didn't turn out the way that you thought it was going to turn out. I think that you are amazing that you tried, and I think you're incredible if you gave it your all, and I think that you are bold if you were brave enough to pour your heart and soul into it. And also that you were so strong if you had that thing slip through your fingers and you had to release it and let it go. And now you're struggling. You may be struggling with how to heal from that level of disappointment. And so I want to just kind of walk you through and encourage you to, one, please, you deserve to be celebrated for what you have given and what you have poured out, and know that it does not go to waste. And what you created, even though the manifestation of that thing may not be with you right now, the learning lessons will make you better for the next time that you have the courage to hope again. So that's what I want to encourage you to do, is say, I want you to have the courage to hope again. I want you to have courage to create again, create inside of your heart again, because what happens when you're heartbroken is that sometimes you are afraid for too long, and now you're afraid because things didn't turn out. You have too much fear inside of you that's now holding you back from creating the vision that you deserve to create for yourself with all the learning lessons that you have now. So instead of being a disappointed person, instead of making a victim of yourself, there's a time for that. There's a time to process those losses. Journal about it, talk to your therapist, whatever the case may be. But please do not spend too much time in the zone of mourning, because you're missing out on the best possible opportunity for you to now glean and sow those seeds again and build something stronger and better on a much firmer foundation. As long as you are alive and you were able to wake up, and you didn't wake up with an expiration date as to, some people woke up and they got bad news as to how long they're going to live, or whatever the case may be. You were here. You have another chance. You have another opportunity. Please do not insult yourself. Do not insult the living God by mourning too long, when you have now the seeds that you need to sow and plant something bigger, stronger, better, and more beautiful than what you had before. Because that is completely and totally possible. But you have to stop being afraid to create a new vision in your heart, but create a smarter one, create a better one. But if you don't take the time to develop the learning lessons from what happened before, and let go of the way you thought things should go, and what you thought people should do, and how you thought people should show show up for you. Let all that go. And see, now go into what did happen, what did I learn from this, where can I grow, what can I control, what things do I need to let go of, so that you can have the courage to create that space in your heart again and to free that up in your heart again. So whatever that ritual may look like for you, so that you can let go of some of those things. I've had to let a lot go. Just some of the things I've had to let go in the last year. Sometimes one of my favorite rituals to do is to write those things out in a journal and sit in front of my fireplace and just, drop it in the fire and let it go, and just kind of have to watch it burn sometimes, so that way I can kind of release it and cleanse it from my heart. That's just one of my little things that helps me out, but writing things down is so powerful. Whatever you need to do, write it down. Rip it up, whatever the case may be. It's good to help you to process and let go of the old thing, and now take the lessons to build the new thing. Remember, now we're no longer building our house on sand. We're going to build it on a firm foundation. It's not built on what people can do for us. It's not built on certain people who have to be a part of this. It is built between you and God, and you have all the power within you already to create this thing, whether people are there or not. You are fully equipped. You have the hardest learning lessons. You have survived. You have made it. You have come to the other side. That information, that knowledge, those experiences, they belong to you. They are inside of you, and you are the steward of it. So please, please allow yourself to have the courage to hope again, to dream again, to think about the future again. Don't be so stuck in the present. There's a time to be present, and I think that is important. It's a powerful practice to learn how to be present. So there is a time for that, but don't be so present, and then that, you start to revert and you start to regress and go backwards, and then you're stuck in the past of like, this is what happened, I failed, I messed up, it didn't work out. Give yourself an expiration date. There's another thing that I like to do as a practice for myself is I will put on my calendar when I am done grieving something. So I may, depending on the gravity or the gravity of the offense or whatever, or the disappointment, I might give myself 30 days. I might give myself 6 weeks. I may give myself 6 months, depending on the devastation, to say, when this date comes, this is when I'm done with this piece. One of the most toxic emotions in the world, and I always think is one of the hugest red flags, is self-pity. Anyone who feels sorry for themselves for too long, they are dangerous people. They are dangerous. And if you feel sorry for yourself for too long, you are in a danger zone. Come out of there, because what will happen is you're going to start looking for people that identify with you in your pain, and you guys will start validating each other's pain rather than looking for people who identify with your future and where you are going and how to help you get out of that ditch. So please do not spend too much time grieving. You woke up today. You are here. You can learn. You can grow. And as long as you can learn, as long as you can grow, as long as you have those things, you are fully equipped to build better, stronger, faster, right? And this is your chance, and this is your opportunity. Do not waste it being in grief for too long. Don't. Okay? Now, I can say this even sometimes the same thing with mourning, and I've gone through, I've lost some people who I love so much. And it's hard when you are mourning the death of someone. And it's like I said, it's because you're trying to figure who you are without them, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this person has been such a part of my life. I used to talk to them every single day. I used to see them every day. I used to listen to their advice. I miss their voice. Who am I without them? Go on that journey. Figure out who you are without them now. You can't be afraid of who you are without certain people. Remember what I said earlier. It's you and God. So some people are going to be there, some people are not. People fall off for all kinds of reasons. They are on their own journeys. They're on their own life. They have their own destiny. They have their own purpose. And you guys just so happen to meet. Your destiny and purpose, your journey and everything is not based on their existence. You still have to do what you were made to do, whether they are here or whether they are gone. So get your head back in the game, people. I love you so much. And I'm not saying that to be cold, and I'm not saying it to be insensitive. I'm saying it to let you know that there is a pathway out of heartbreak. There's a pathway out of pain, and that is called hope. And you have to have hope for the future. You have to have a vision for the future, and you have to stop being afraid to take what you have learned, not the self-pity part. Now take those lessons out. You don't need that. Find the most powerful lesson you can learn of what it is that you can do differently, what you will do differently next time. Write those things down and make some new commitments and declarations to yourself of where this time you're going to zig because last time you zagged, right? So I just want to encourage you. I really hope that this was helpful for you tonight to just understand that, how to prevent heartbreak. And remember what I said about preventing heartbreak is you got to stop building your life on things that are temporary. You got to stop building your heart and creating visions in your heart for temporary things. Build it on things that are rock solid. Build it on things that are unshakable. Build it on things that are unmovable. What you learn, unshakable. What you have gained, unmovable. Who you're becoming, unshakable. The information that you're taking in, your capacity to love and grow, it's all about you, friends. I don't mean that in a selfish way. I am saying that every experience you have, every connection that you have should always be about your betterment. And no one can take those lessons from you, and you should be committed to that. So it's beautiful, and don't be disappointed in yourself if you loved the wrong people. What's important is that you learned your love capacity. Just because they couldn't receive it is no reflection on your growth. You grew and you were able to forgive someone, and you had patience for somebody, and you were kind to someone who didn't deserve it. And maybe you did ignore a red flag, but you know what? It was only because you were long suffering, and it was only because you did everything that love said it was supposed to do. So you grew, and now you deserve love at the capacity that you were able to give it. Sometimes you've outgrown someone else's capacity. Someone else was petty. Someone else was mean. Someone else was cruel. Someone else was backstabbing. Someone else gossiped and did rumors. That's about them. They're on their own journey, and they had to learn through you what they deserve. And guess what? You got to learn what you deserve. So embrace that. Embrace what you have learned and build now within your heart. Don't be heartbroken. You can be disappointed in them that they are not accepting the amount of love that you have to offer, but be happy and hopeful for yourself, because now you see what you deserve. You see what you're capable of doing, and you can go and get better now. You can have a vision of better for yourself because you see just how great you actually are. So that was on the prevention side. On the healing side, hope again. Grieve, do what you have to do. Don't grieve too long. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining this broadcast. I hope it was helpful. Again, you can always visit my website at coachtia.org and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more communication tips and strategies to help you with your internal dialogue. God bless you, and I really hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and I will hope to chat with you very soon.